I introduce you to your next game, and it's called Connect 4. It is the very same game that you're already familiar with, we are just playing it on a slightly bigger chessboard. The goal is to get 4 pieces in a row. Let me show you how it looks in real life. So this is an example from my students from the elementary school. All you need for it is to have a chessboard and some kind of pieces with 2 colors. These ones are two-sided with red and blue, but you can use anything distinct, whatever you like. The game that you see is already over. Red has won the game, and this is an example of a game that I don't want to see from you, because, well, it was a pretty bad play. Instead, if both players are playing consistently, then this is a finishing position that I'm really happy with, because it's almost everything full, and actually I think you can even fill the whole board with this game. And here Red has won the game. His last move was to drop it from C line to get to C5, and now he has 4 in a row. Also, he had another option to win, to put on the F line to F3, then he would also have 4 diagonally, and he just didn't notice it. And this is one of the difficulties of this game, because you have to see all the options that you have and all of the connections, since otherwise you can just simply miss your own win. Let me give you an example of a real played game. So this are the rules and a possibility how to play the game. Example, so first of all, you can only drop down your pieces from above. Somebody can start, let's say blue starts, and blue starts with E1. Actually, this is a pretty good move to start in the center, because your idea is to get, lines of 4, and from the middle you have just way more options to get lines of 4, rather than from the side if you would start there. So it's red to move, and in the game, red dropped it on the F line. Now it's blue again, and blue, if he wants to, he can drop on the E line or on the F line or on any other line. You cannot place it just simply somewhere on the middle of the board, because of the gravity, all the pieces have to fall down to the lowest possible point. So placing it on D4 is not possible, but dropping it from the D line to D1 is possible, obviously. Now it's red again, and in the game red made this one, it's blue, blue played on the C line, and now you should stop for a brief moment, because blue has a threat, and the threat that he has is to make his next move on the B line, and then he would have 4 pieces in a row. This one is obviously not acceptable for red. So if red would see the threat, there is an option to prevent it, and this is took by playing it on the B line himself. And now let's continue the game. The game went further with this one. Red made this one, then a C line and B line for red. Now blue was feeling pretty confident, and he placed it on the C line without much thinking. And his reasoning was, I guess, that he has first of all a threat to put a 4th one on C4, and he has a second idea, because maybe in the future he can do something with these 3, and if he gets something to B4. But it was a huge miscalculation, because he just neglected completely red's options, because first of all red obviously has to prevent it, and he did it, but at the same time he not only prevents the blue win, but at the same time he just won himself. And this is another example what you need to take care of. You need not only to think for yourself, for your options, but also what can the opponent do and try to prevent his strategy. So here are the rules that if you want to see them in text. So first of all, I would advise you to sit close to each other and not opposite of each other. For example, like in this game, you see both of my students are playing from the same side, because there you see much better all of your possibilities. Then the second thing is it doesn't matter who starts, but keep it fair. For example, just let play 2 games and let each other start first. You can only drop pieces from above, and the first who gets 4 in a row wins the game and it's over. If nobody wins, so the whole game board is filled with pieces and nobody has won until yet, then it's declared a draw. And I have to admit that in the maybe 200, 300 games that my students have played with it, I have never seen a draw. So if you get it, you're really special. Let me give you some other advices for the game. So first of all, this is an example from the first picture where blue was completely neglecting the opponent and just thinking about himself. And once you get to this position, you just simply lose, because red has just 2 different options to win. It's a double threat, and blue can only prevent one of them. So for example, if blue plays it on the E line, then red just go to the A line, and he connects his 4 pieces and win the game. What blue should have done better is just, well, thinking ahead and also not just playing for yourself, but think what is the opponent's strategy. Maybe you should try to stop it. And finally, here's another good example of a really complicated game and what it means to be an expert in it. Here, it's red to move, and red placed his piece on the C line. Now he has a threat to get row 4. Therefore, blue has seen it and he did prevent it. Now red was completely oblivious that this move was not just a defensive move, but at the same time it was a threat in itself. And the threat was played in the game, namely after the next move of red, the game was simply won by blue, because he has 4 in a row. And what was the mistake of red? Well, he did not just respect the options that blue has in this position. He was just thinking about himself. Instead, he also need to think about the opponent. What is the threat? What can he do? And actually, if he would have played it a bit better, he would already be winning this game, because after moving to d3, he has such a compact structure that it's already winning. Simply because, well, if blue does anything in this position, for example, moving to H line is bad move, but it's just an example, then after placing it to a 3, red has suddenly a double threat, because he can win by going to f3 or win by going to e4. And blue cannot stop this. Also, blue cannot place his own piece on e3, because then red plays it on the e line anyway and win the game too. So actually, these are some examples of the more complicated matter that you need to, well, present yourself with good options and, use them. But all of that doesn't matter if you just simply lose the game in one move. So finally, before you start playing this game, I have some advices for you. And this is this slide. This is a decision protocol, and it's also used in chess of the very best players. Therefore, I would advise you to use such a similar decision protocol in this game. So whenever it's your move, you should check the options. Could you potentially win the game? You have 8 options to play. Check all 8 of them and try to see whether, well, you can win. And then, if for a reason you cannot win in this very move, well, you need also to defend yourself. So check whether your opponent has a threat to win the game. And if so, well, try to defend it. Only then, if you cannot move and you don't need to defend, then you can make a pretty smart move of your development that seems meaningful to you. And then it's the move of your opponent, and then you start again. if you are to move, first of all check, can you win? If you cannot win, do you have to defend? If not, well, then make just a meaningful, simple move as good as you can. This structure doesn't lead to the very, very first and perfect play, because you still sometimes need even to think 2 moves ahead, but with these you're already above average and can beat most of your opponents. And obviously, any player who can use this protocol to a good degree will win against the players who don't. With that, you can use this now on your games and also on the tactic positions that are coming soon. And now it's left for me to wish you good luck.